I would come home after taking a test at school and have no worries. I would just come home, breathe in, and sit down on my laptop and watch some feel-good movies. A few days later, I would get the test back and see I've received a good grade. I shrug and toss it away. School life used to be very easy for me as everything seemed to just come naturally. I paid attention in class, did the minimum work required out of school, take the test, and forget everything I learned afterwards. No stress, no guilt, nothing. My parents were proud and so was I. I always saw myself as an above-average student, someone who did not need to study weeks before an exam to get a decent score. However, once I got into my junior year, things seemed to change for the worse. Nothing changed in my studying patterns, but the grades I receive now seem to be much lower than what I'm used to earning. The first few times I brushed it to the side, just a harder unit. I can just retake the test. Just need to study a bit more for this one. But even after studying for those retakes, it would not change by much. I started to get nervous. My parents began questioning me as to why I was getting bad grades in my classes. Truth be told, they were never a failing grade, but as someone who's used to getting A's on all their tests and assignments, it worried me a bit. I decided that my good luck well was officially out. Now came the hardest challenge of all. How do you study? For someone who has never truly had to practice and memorize formulas or vocabulary, it was extremely difficult in finding a way of studying that actually is beneficial to you. I tried everything, from flashcards to study guides to studying during advisories. Nothing seemed to work. I was on the verge of having a mental breakdown. Why did studying work for all of my friends? I did the same thing they did. In fact, I went above and beyond what they did. Why was my effort not being reflected in that one little number? Then, one day, things just clicked. I had studied for weeks before an upcoming test, went to review sessions, practice online, anything you could think of, I did. I was handed the test having little hope, and as I was working through it, I realized I knew a lot of the stuff on the paper. Finally, I went home, having that familiar feeling of being stress-free. A few weeks later, I'm handed back the test. No, it was not an A, but it was a significant improvement. It was that moment I realized no one is perfect at everything. I was so used to having things come naturally to me that I tricked myself into believing that I was basically perfect when it came to school. Vain, I know, but this year was a huge reality check for me. It helped me realize that I may have some weaknesses that may be other people's strengths, and that is completely alright. I do not need to be good at everything, and instead I should focus on trying to be happy with what I can accomplish. That's not to say not to try to aim for higher goals, but if for some reason I cannot achieve something on my first try, there's no embarrassment from failure, because you can always learn from it and do better in the future.